again, 5th primary students. Welcome back to part 2 of chapter 5 of the Railway Children, and in this part we're going to have the indicative answers for the questions. Question A in page 19 says, write T for true and F for false. The foreign man on the train had a ticket to go to London. False. Mother had to take the train to the next town on business. That's true. Roberta knew how to speak to the foreigner. False. Mother gave the foreign man some of her husband's clothes. True. The man escaped from a prison in Russia. True. Match the word with its meaning. Number 1 says decide, to choose or to make a decision. Number 2, foreign, from a different country. Fetch is to get, and a refugee is a person who escaped a country to be safe. Exercise C. Number 1 says, where did the children see the foreign man? The children were waiting for their mother at the railway station when they saw a crowd of people. They went to see what was up, and they heard a man speaking in an unknown language. He was a foreigner who collapsed on the platform and looked very sick and lost. Number 2 says, what language did their mother and the foreigner speak together? They communicated in French, because the man didn't know any English and couldn't understand what Peter said in French. The children waited for their mother to come to so that she could speak to the man in French, and he understood her very well. Number 3, why did Roberta ask if father was dead? Roberta thought her father was dead because all of his clothes were in a box in the attic. He didn't have any clothes with him, and that meant that he could be dead. And they also didn't know anything about their father or where he was. Number 4 says, how did the children's mother help the man? The children's mother took the man to the cottage and fetched the doctor for him. She also gave him some of father's clothes and gave him a bed to sleep at her house. This shows how generous the children's mother was, and although she didn't have enough money, she insisted on helping the man who was in desperate need for help. It also shows how compassionate the family was towards anyone who needed help. Number 5 says, why was the man poor and ill? He was a refugee who left Russia after being wrongfully imprisoned when he spoke against the government. He escaped from prison and went to England to look for his family. He didn't have any money and only owned the clothes he was wearing. Number 6 says, why did the man want to come to England? He was searching for his family who traveled to England when he was in prison. He didn't know where exactly his family was, so he traveled to many places around England to find them. Number 7 is a quote that says, I'm sad for all people in prison. When you say your prayers tonight, say a prayer for everyone who is in prison. Comment who said these words to whom, what does it signify? Mother said these words to the children at the cottage when she was telling them the story of the Russian refugee. It shows how important family bonds were to the children's mother and how compassionate mother was towards every innocent person who was wrongfully imprisoned. Mother valued the importance of family union and the warmth of being together and not missing any member. Question 8. Do you think the children's mother did the right thing by taking the refugee to their cottage and bringing him to the doctor? Why or why not? And this is a thinking question, and as usual, thinking questions should be answered on your own and discussed during our Zoom sessions or in class. Question D in page 22 says complete the sentence using the correct word. Number 1, there was a crowd of people at the end of the platform. The station master was worried that the man was a dangerous criminal. Peter showed the man the stamps from many countries. Roberta thought that Peter's French accent was bad. Roberta went to fetch the doctor. The doctor examined the man. People knew the man was a foreigner because he didn't speak English. The man was a refugee who was forced to leave his country. The Russian man escaped from prison. Peter and Roberta helped the man walk to their cottage. And that's the end of chapter 5, part 2. Thank you for listening and goodbye.